I was wondering how to start this video, because this is an entirely new game from what you guys have been used to seeing. Average Tower Defense is a game made by some of the people in the NPC Tower Defense community, and it does some things way better than NPC Tower Defense. For example, there isn't a toilet event.
Oh wait, there are fucking... Oh.
So, let's start off with a tier list, shall we? Scout. The average starter tower. Low damage, medium range, and medium fire rate. It has no cost efficiency, and is useless in every scenario. Next, Spray Painter is a tower for OGs, but you won't miss out on much. It's just Arsonist but worse. If you're really desperate, maybe you can use it for early game for some of the easier difficulties, but I wouldn't stoop that low. Doctor is almost useless. Imagine Medic from Tower Defense Simulator, but it can't unstun towers. What's the point of it? To heal the base? Nobody is using this except if you're super low early game. This is going to be controversial. Assassin is an okay tower, but it does two things way too costly. The cash increase isn't really that effective, and the damage is mediocre at best for its cost. If you want money and defense, go the full mile. Don't half-ass it with this tower. Snowballer is another tower that is just outclassed. It can only slow one enemy at a time, and not even that much. Just use Slaughterer to stun multiple strong enemies. Huntsman is mediocre, but what do you expect for a starter tower? Low fire rate, but can do some good DPS. You can use it to solo easy, so that's A+, but in the end, it sucks late game on every other difficulty. Soldier is just Scout but better. For being spammable, the DPS is solid. It works for early game and easy and medium. But, for hard you'll likely need a better tower. Arsonist is a fun tower to use, but it's a bit expensive, and only really gets good after you upgrade it once. Its best ability is how it's able to shred enemies with high health but slow speed in the early game. So, it's in the middle of the road for me. Archer can be pretty effective after you upgrade it to level 1, but the overall downfall of this tower is how you have to place it to maximize its DPS, in straight lines. The range is pretty good though, so it's in high C tier. Mortar, the tower that's only really useful in Apocalyptic Garden, but super useful in it. This tower has massive splash range, so it can hit a ton of enemies with good damage. It's as low as it is because since it has such a massive splash range, it will probably be banned from most events that clump their enemies together, like the most recent, Five Nights at Freddy's event. Shotgunner, the third best early game tower. Why is it so high then, you may be asking? Because, it's super easy to get. It only costs about 1,000 coins in the shop, and then early game for easy, medium, and hard are a breeze. It's just not the most efficient, so it's not all the way in A tier. The man behind the slaughter. I used to think this tower was mediocre until I was playing my most recent match. This tower can stun almost everything and anything. I didn't think it would even stun Magma Guardians. So yay, a great utility tower. Not very useful in solos though. Like father like son, Rocketeer in this game is also the 7th best tower. It's the most effective early game tower, aside from another we'll be talking about next. The cost efficiency is stacked, and almost everyone has it, so you'll be using it for early game a ton. The max level is also pretty fun for dealing with bosses cramped together. Cramped together. If it's targeting one strong enemy, it kinda stinks, but whatever. Energizer, the goat of early game, some might say. In NPC tower defense terms, this is Crusher Boy. Low range, but the DPS is insane. Technically, Energizer is a mid-game tower, but the mid-game is already an absolute joke. Get one or two of these and you're good until a boss arrives. Fisherman and Businessman are pretty similar, so I'll just put them in the same section. They both give you tons of money, and you need them to win hard mode. The funny thing is, they're both good, so both of them are necessary and unnecessary at the same time, keeping them both at high tier. Third place, and the bronze medal in this tier list goes to Brute. 20 damage, high range, high fire rate, spammable, good cost efficiency, what else do you want? It doesn't have any flaws really, but it's just not as powerful as the other two in this tier list. Second place goes to Outlaw. It's the most expensive tower in the game, but for a good reason. 500 damage is nuts, and the range is so big you can see it out of the map. You need it to win hard mode, unless you have enough people spamming brutes. But, it's just shy of number 1. If you've played the game, You know what number 1 is though. First place in this tier list is clearly Astronaut. It can boost damage up to 1.5 times the amount, and yeah, this joke is unfunny. First place in this tier list is Rockstar. You can argue that this is the best support tower in any tower defense game ever, because it has the greatest base level of all time. For $850, you boost fire rate and range by 1.25 times, which can make your towers insanely efficient. I would say why hasn't this been nerfed yet, but the rest of the levels are just range increases. So, that's the finished tier list. Wait, there's one more I have to rank?